What is up, y'all? We are in the middle of the week. We're here for our alchemy message, where we go deeper into the process of how we are interacting and showing up for our spiritual lessons this week. We're using the Wild Unknown Alchemy deck, and we are using the Mystical Moments Tarot to clarify. So to start, we've got Mars, followed by Autumn, followed by Sun. And I couldn't help but notice all of this orange. And the Sacral Chakra card has been coming up for the last few weeks in my Oracle of Oddities deck. And all of these subconscious patterns, like that are stored in that lower gut area and that sacral chakra, like they're all coming up for our awareness. And that's, you know, part of the reading today. But it's just, I feel like it's worth noting this stormy looking orange. It's like flames and sunset and storms and fire and all of it. And I feel like this is like the heat and the pressure around the diamond as our, you know, hidden thoughts and beliefs and patterns are coming up to be seen and healed. And, you know, that's also the sacral chakra is how we're connected to our imagination. It's how we're connected to our dreams, like our nightly dreams, how we can remember them. It is connected to our creativity. And so it's also where the shame and the guilt get held. And so when we have shame and guilt that are blocking our sacral chakra, we're not able to be as fertile, sometimes literally, but sometimes figuratively, as you know, fruitful or creative as we could be. And so all of this is coming up to be offloaded. And then, you know, the more that we heal, the more that we're clearing up space for all of this creativity and inspiration to flow through again. And, you know, feelings of security and sort of like having a more of an understanding and connection with like the spiritual realm and the messages that are coming through and that intuition from the gut. So so underneath Mars or Aries, we've got 3 of Pentacles. Underneath Autumn, we've got Page of Pentacles. And underneath Sun, we have 3 of Wands. So yeah, Aries, Mars. This came up in the TikTok video for our daily pick a card yesterday. It was the governing force of Gevura from the Tree of Life. And this is part of the Godhead. It's one of the governing forces of reality. And it's also associated with Mars. It's the just warrior, right? Who is, you know, able to fight for what's right and fight for like a healthy fighter, like an activism for a cause. So Mars, you know, that Gevura card is also about wise judgment and discernment and discrimination. And so Mars or Gevura, this force of energy, is that force like the cherubim who can come in with a flaming sword and cut through something completely, a clean cut. If this energy is weak in you, then you have maybe like messy endings, or you can't really quit something. Like you can't just leave it behind. It's hard to get over. It's hard to get past. So this card is talking about taking decisive and discriminate action to cut out what is no longer in alignment in your life. Whatever is not right for you, whatever is no longer serving you, whatever is not currently authentic to you, it needs to go, because we are cluttered with things that are preventing our up level from happening. And so what the universe is asking for us right now is to cut out what no longer belongs, what no longer serves, what's come to a completion, so that we can make room for something that is ready to come in, I think, very quickly. Because we have Three of Pentacles underneath this. Three of Pentacles is about being seen for your skills and being recognized for your skills, and people wanting to work with you, and, you know, some monetary success from, you know, your talents and recognition for that. And so it's like get rid of the things that are pulling your focus off of your mission, your purpose. You know, if you're trying to build, like if you're working on an art project, right? And you're like, say you're writing a book, but you're always working and you're never making time for your writing. It's like you need to cut out whatever it is that's eating up that hour or two a day that you could be sitting and staring at the blank page. Essentially, it's better to sit there and stare at a blank page for 2 hours than it is to, say, burn the time scrolling through like a feed of some social media. Because in that 2 hours, you're probably going to have an idea. You're going to come to some clarity. You're going to make progress in the struggle of blankness. Whatever it is, you'll probably get some writing done in that time. More so than if you had just been sort of uninspired. So you need to make yourself sit and do it. If you are wanting a committed relationship, for instance, and there are, let's say, suitors around who are blocking like a proper relationship from coming in, and they're not serious, and, you know, this isn't really in alignment with your goals, then it's time to like cut that sort of like, you know, that kind of dating out, because that's not really what you're doing anymore. Does that make sense? If you are, say, I don't know, trying to hit like a fitness goal or whatever, that's pretty straightforward. It's like things have to be cut out, or, you know, you have to train, you know, or show up to the gym or to the activity that you want to do. If you want to take dance classes, like you've got to start taking them. And you maybe need to set aside or like cut out a membership on an app that you're paying for that you could be buying the dance classes with. And you could be, you know, taking something out of your daily routine that isn't really filling you up or making you happy anymore, and switch that out, right? So it's like, it's about taking out what doesn't belong so that you can bring in what does belong. And then I think that as soon as, like, the universe loves a void. So as soon as we make space for something, it's like filled again. Have you ever carried something around in your car for like a few months and you keep meaning to take it out, and finally you find it within yourself to get your shit together enough to like get this big item out of your car? And once you take it inside, you're like, oh my God, my car, it's so clean, it's so nice. And then like 2 days later, somebody's like, oh, I have this thing for you. And it's another enormous thing that you're carrying around in your car for another 2 months. Same. The universe is the same. So if you are hesitant to cut something out because of nostalgia, or because of sentimentality, or because you are afraid of the consequences, or you're afraid to disappoint, or whatever it is, just focus on that example of, wow, when I take out what is not really authentic to me, the universe is going to bring me something and deliver something that is. And so it is a way to get motivated to prune out what is not in alignment for us. Autumn is it's death and culmination and feasting and harvest all in one. So autumn is the culmination, the completion of a growing season. And it's like you take the fruits of the harvest and you feast on them and you're grateful. And, you know, it's like you kind of, it's like there's just rest now. There's not as much toil as there is during the summer to keep the crop going and to maintain that. It's like, okay, now the growing season is over. So it's about reflecting and enjoying what has come and, you know, what has been, and thinking about what we have gained and, you know, take what we're going to take with us. So this to me is like, I mean, there might be literal fruits of things that you have reaped in this past growing season. But I do believe that we are coming to an end of a cycle of lessons, maybe difficult lessons that we've finally been able to come to the other side of and see in a whole new way, so that we don't have to repeat them again, hopefully. Because Page of Pentacles is the student. It's the sensitive, diligent student that is sort of hardworking and learning. And this particular page is very tender and very compassionate and sensitive. But the Page of Pentacles generally is about the student. It's about learning. This can be a nice message, something pleasant or whatever, what have you, or good news or an opportunity coming in. But I think overall, the opportunity here is to, while we're letting go of things and making room for what's coming in, what we do need to take with us, the fruits of this harvest, of this growing season, is the wisdom, the discernment, the discrimination, the judgment, like the good, positive judgment, the experience. Hopefully we have come to the other side of it with a deeper sense of patience and understanding and compassion and mercy and generosity and gratitude. This card is a lot of this message is about gratitude, you know, at the end of that season, you know, as we go through and we gather our harvest. We have a cornucopia to appreciate and to be grateful for. And, you know, sometimes, gosh, it's so hard to come to that. But you know you've come to the other side of some healing and some perspective when you can look back at some of the difficulties that you've been through and actually be grateful that they happened in the end, because it brought change that you wanted, change that you needed, change that maybe was difficult to make. And so yeah, just being able to appreciate that. I can't remember how I learned that, but it was like part of like the steps of forgiveness. It's like one of the final steps was gratitude. And I think that is like, you can truly appreciate the fullness of what you came through after at that point, because you're like, wow, that experience, like I have made sure that I've been transformed for the positive out of that, and not left for, I don't know, a shell of darkness to come over, you know, anger, bitterness, shame, regret, you know. It's good to have remorse, but out of balance, it can swing into destructive emotions like shame. And ghosts that haunt. So remorse is good, but remorse is proactive, right? It's hopeful. So autumn, taking what we learned, integrating that, and going forward into a new start. The sun, it talks about vitality, new beginnings, that light that is always sharing, the light of the Creator, the eternal, unconditional love, eternal. It's like it's unwavering, it's unchanging, it's unfluctuating. And so the light of the sun is always giving, it's always sharing. The light of the Creator is always giving, it's always sharing. It's only us as the vessel in our own consciousness that closes off our capacity to receive that light. So yes, on the other side of this, like there are good things coming, great things coming, vitality, growth, new beginnings, a new day is dawning. I mean, there's like all of these fire symbols, the triangle, we've got earth here. I just feel like there's this new passion and vigor and excitement coming through. There are really amazing things coming in. Like there's like the desire is being re-stoked, reignited in our heart because our hearts are healing. And so it's desire that's the magnet that pulls in the manifestation. We have to have the desire in order to manifest anything. And so it's like the desire has been reignited and things are starting to come in the physical. Ooh, I'm gonna sneeze. Phew. Three of Wands is here. This is about like collaborators or possible like partners that could join a venture that could make it very successful. This is about like having acquired and gathered your resources. It's like now you're ready for that next leg of the journey. This is like someone looking out at ships coming in. So in the tarot, the threes are like the first stage of completion. If the numbers go from 1 to, like in numerology, it's 1 through 9. 10 is like an overspill. So it's like 1 through 9 is are the digits. And so it's separated into 3 parts. And so 1 through 3, that's like stage 1. 4, 5, 6, that's the second stage of completion. And then 7, 8, 9, that's the final stage of completion. So we're looking at 3, 6, and 9 as like markers for completion in phases. So in the beginning, it's like we're off to a new start. We've gathered ourselves, like this whole year has gone by and we have been almost like rebirthing. It's been like death, resurrection, rebirth this whole year. Tests, initiations, slowly being turned on system by system. And so now it's like, okay, the final tests have been, not the final tests, but recent tests have been coming up to show us what's still lingering in those, in that subconscious that's still making us impulsive or reactive or not using our sovereignty of free will, right? It's things that are still driving us that we're unaware of. So like these things are coming up for our healing so that we can move forward, off to a new start, not having to be controlled by these old patterns. Now my nose is running. I'm sorry, that's gross, but I'm like trapped on camera and I can't go anywhere. I don't want my nose to run. Okay, I'll wash my shirt. So yeah, so the first phase of completion, it's like we're off to a new start. We have our little knapsack. We've got a new adventure ahead of us. We're still at the beginning, so we don't need to be impatient with ourselves. We don't need to lose hope. We're off to a new start. It's not like this is all there ever will be. So don't get impatient or don't be hard on yourself or don't feel like despair or like resign yourself to give up. It's like, don't worry, we're all in this together. We're all starting anew in some way. So we're off to a new adventure. This is a new beginning and we have a new chance to be a new person going forward and build a new life. And so that is what we intend to do. So don't rush yourself. Take it slow and make conscious choices that aren't from that same default setting. You know, when things come up, if you're overly excited, if you're overly anxious or whatever, just wait until you can get neutral and listen for that small whisper down, you know, in your gut, that guidance, that divine guidance that's confident and assured and grounded and a loving voice, and a wise voice. All right. Okay, you guys, well, good luck out there. I think that the moment that we let go of the things that are hard for us to let go of, that we know we're supposed to, that sacrifice, that's going to release the magic for like this new thing to come in. I think that we're surrounded by new opportunities for all kinds of things, like career opportunities that have to do with our purpose, opportunities that have to do with friends and, you know, new relationships and all kinds of things. I think that lots of new things are trying to come in, but space needs to be made. And you probably are aware of like kind of the changes that you want to start to see happen and start to see making. And so, yeah, I mean, don't get too overwhelmed. Just take it little by little, step by step. All right, you guys, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Ciao.